Well, gang, looks like we got another mystery on our hands. And that mystery is how Shaggy somehow got imbued with godlike powers.
What?
Hey guys, I'm Rebecca from WatchMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 monsters from Scooby-Doo TV shows.
How did we get into this, Scoob?
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. We'll be basing our choices on how iconic, creative, and frightening the monsters are, but since we will be unmasking these baddies, a groovy spoiler alert is now in effect.
Yipes? Double yipes!
You know, maybe Shaggy has been the true monster all along, and he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you pesky memers. Jinkies! Alright, let's get to the list.
Shaggy, give me a hand.
This is tied for the most terrifying day of my life!
I was what?
Every other freaking day of my life!
Number 10. Gator Ghoul.
Maybe we should alter course, like maybe in reverse. Reverse?
Scooby and the gang head to the Deep South to pay a visit to Ma and Pa Skillet and Scooby-Doo's cousin, Scooby-Dum. Seriously. The Skillets run a restaurant, but it's being haunted by the alligator ghost, known as the Gator Ghoul, a terrifying monster whose worst attribute is glowing eyes that allow it to see in the dark.
It's half man, half gator.
And all ghost! Yay!
Well, that and it's a frickin' alligator. Ultimately, however, the alligator is revealed to be not the careless handyman Simon,
That much gonna pay through the snout before I'm through with him.
but the sweet, kindly Alice Dovely, who was trying to drive the Skillets out of business to sell their soft drink formula to the big soda conglomerate that fired her.
Miss Dovely, the Gator Ghoul? That's ridiculous.
And she would have gotten away with it.
If it weren't for you nosy kids.
Number 9. The Headless Horseman.
A headless horseman! The headless horseman? Who?
Halloween's spooky, but it gets even spookier when, during a groovy Halloween party, the gang meets the Headless Horseman, a ghoul whose noggin's been swapped out for a pumpkin.
Zoinks! It's him!
I want a head!
Turns out the horseman is still haunting the Crane family, descendants of Ichabod, you see.
What happened to Ichabod?
We don't know. Nobody in Sleepy Hollow ever saw him again.
And is most interested in Mrs. Crane's diamond necklace, as explained by her cousin Elwood.
The curse on that diamond is the cause of everything that's happened here this evening.
Did you say curse?
Things start to get really tense when the team sees that not only can the Headless Horseman remove his own pseudo-head, he can also take cousin Elwood's head clean off as well.
He's got Elwood's head.
Fortunately, their reenactment of Sleepy Hollow ends when they discover that the horseman is actually Elwood himself, who wanted to scare Mrs. Crane into giving up the diamond.
And let's get this phony Elwood mask off and see who this headless horseman really is.
Let go of my face.
Number 8. The Ghost of Captain Cutler.
Zoinks! A seagoing ghost!
Many Scooby-Doo ghosts were supposedly the spirits of people that were long since dead. Or not. And the ghost of Captain Cutler is perhaps one of the most famous of this type in the Scooby-Doo canon.
Beach hermit Ebenezer Sharp claims it was the ghost of Captain Cutler who stole it.
Ghost? Ghost?
The captain's ghost took the form of a scuba suit covered in glowing seaweed that would rise out of the water to steal yachts and scare the Mystery Inc. kids.
Phosphorum pyrifera,
Like speak English.
a phosphorus glowing seaweed found only in the area known as the graveyard of ships.
Thanks to a dive down to the graveyard of ships, the team discovers that the real Captain Cutler faked his death
You found a clue?
so that he and his wife could trick everyone into believing he was a ghost, as a cover for his yacht-stealing activities. Ingenious!
Hey, listen to this, gang. Teenage sleuths solve boat hijacking mystery. Captain Cutler and his wife taken into custody by sheriff.
Number 7. The Headless Spectre.
Haunted mansion? Ghost? And the headless specter.
On their way to a rock show, Mystery Inc. stumbles upon a supposedly haunted mansion, where a headless spirit roams the grounds. Their initial investigation leads them to believe that maybe the house is haunted by the spirit of Jefferson Stillwall, a rich old man who had apparently hidden a large treasure on his property.
Hey, I wonder who this guy is. Jefferson Stillwall.
Armed with nothing but a candle and an eerie laugh. This ghost torments the gang until they find out he's actually the very much alive great-great-great-grandson of Jefferson Stillwall, Penrod.
I am Penrod Stillwall, great-great-great-grandson of Jefferson Stillwall.
He only donned the disguise to keep thieves away from his mansion, as he looked for the treasure.
Like why, man? You scared us half to death.
There's a hidden treasure someplace in that old house that is rightly mine.
Number 6. The Tar Monster. Mystery Inc. is on location in Turkey to check in with their friend Dr. Brixton, who's discovered an ancient city during an archaeological dig. Unfortunately, a tar monster is supposedly the guardian of said ancient city.
Under the protection of a legendary creature that lived in the pools, the tar monster.
As its name implies, this lumbering giant seems to be made out of tar. Things get worse before they get better when it's discovered that Dr. Brixton's assistant, Mr. Stoner, has been kidnapped by the monster.
Last night I heard my assistant, Mr. Stoner, shouting for help.
But as they're wont to do, the mystery is soon unraveled, revealing that Mr. Stoner wasn't kidnapped, but was in fact the monster all along, and wanted to steal the treasure of the ancient city for himself.
Now let's see who the tar monster really is.
Why, it's Stoner, my missing assistant.
Number 5. Phantom Shadows, also known as the Giggling Green Ghosts.
Now, good night and pleasant dreams, y'all.
Because of his heroics, Scooby-Doo is chosen as one of a few heirs to a millionaire. However, the only way these people can claim their fortune is to spend a night in a house. Sounds easy enough.
You're all going to receive an equal share of the $1 million, providing you spend tonight here in the old family mansion.
The only thing standing in Scooby's way, however, are 2 phantoms with rattling chains that are trying to scare the heirs out of the house one by one.
It's the Phantom Shadow!
Only he's not a shadow. He's a green ghost.
Now there's 2 of them.
Thanks to his friends, Scooby-Doo proves resilient and is able to unmask the phantoms as Mr. Creeps and Mr. Crawls, 2 lawyers who wanted the fortune for themselves.
Well, there they are, Sheriff. Mr. Creeps and his partner, Mr. Crawls.
Greedy lawyers, where do they come up with these things?
Creeps and crawls. They sure picked the right lawyers for this job.
Number 4. Phantom.
Something tells me this is the Phantom. Run, Scooby!
Scoob and the gang are at Decade Records to hear their friend Jimmy Lewis play a gig,
I hope we're not too late for the recording session.
when they find that the studio is haunted by the Phantom, also known as the Disc Demon. Looking like a member of Kiss and the Joker had a baby, this Phantom is dressed in full 70s glam rock regalia and is trying to locate a song penned by a writer who has disappeared.
Give me the music.
Music? Here, hold this a minute, will you, Scoob?
As it turns out, this Gene Simmons Ziggy Stardust wannabe is actually,
Now to see who this phantom really is.
gasp, Ace Decade, the nephew of Decade Records owner, who'd been stealing records and selling them on the black market.
I get it. Like he was smuggling the records out in the garbage cans.
Right, Shaggy.
Number 3. Spooky Space Kook.
Oh, the ghost!
It's hard to take a monster with a name like Spooky Space Kook seriously, but that didn't stop this alleged alien from terrorizing an airfield. Coming complete with a spacesuit, floating skull, and strobe lights to coincide with its creepy high-pitched laughter, this is one scary being. Who happens to leave glowing footprints everywhere he goes.
Do you guys see what I see?
It's those spooky glowing tracks again.
Zoinks!
Zoinks!
However, in one of the group's more creative unmaskings, they trap the Spooky Space Kook in a wind tunnel,
Start it up, Freddy.
which blows off the costume and reveals Henry Bascom, a greedy guy who wanted to scare local farmers off their land so he could get it cheap and sell it to the government.
You can, shut it off, Fred.
Number 2. The 10,000 Volt Ghost.
We're in luck. I found the battery-powered hot plate.
One of the more creative monsters in the Scooby-Doo canon. The 10,000 Volt Ghost is a being made entirely out of electricity. At least that's what it looks like. Its electrical powers can even melt metal, making him one shocking foe. The gang first meets up with this baddie while they're traveling through Winter Haven. a small town that's now deserted because of the ghost.
You mean the 10,000-volt ghost, sir?
They're told that the orange ball of electricity is actually the ghost of an electrician named Voltner, who disappeared after an explosion.
There was a violent short circuit, which overloaded the circuit breakers and blew out all the transformers.
But as you may have guessed, Voltner is actually just a greedy guy in a ghost costume.
You see, melting that snow short-circuited the batteries on his do-it-yourself ghost suit and ran him down.
Let's see who he really is.
It's Voltner.
Why, I declare.
Before we unmask our favorite Scooby-Doo monster, here are some honorable mentions.
Leave it to Daphne to pick the wrong door. Oh, it's dark and spooky in here, Scooby.
Good work, Scooby. I'll give you a hand.
Number 1. The Creeper.
That must be the Creeper.
The Creeper, creeped onto the scene when the gang had to investigate a series of bank robberies, all perpetrated by a green-skinned monster.
Zoinks, it's him!
And let us tell you, this was one of the gang's biggest and most complex mysteries. Clues, including a simple piece of paper, pointed in many different directions, keeping the Mystery Inc. gang on their toes. However, when that mysterious slip of paper is heated, it's revealed to be an unprocessed photo showing the true culprit was
Mr. Carswell, the bank president.
Who used the Creeper getup and his unlimited access to the bank to create the impression he could walk through walls. Spooky, man.
Later that night, he would return disguised as the Creeper and make it appear that some sort of a phantom was robbing the bank.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.